Howdy, my name is Cloudy. Go back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't checked out my past videos, you should be checking out my past videos. Today, we got a video from somebody new. His name is, his or she name is Dillpick. I hope I said that right. But this is going to be a video about some comics, you know what I'm saying? I told you I was going to get on the comic stuff since I don't read them. You know what I'm saying? I told you I was going to react to some videos that, you know, kind of explain some comic book stories in a shorter duration, you know what I'm saying? But this right here is the comic that changed Iron Man forever. Let's see, man. Comic that changed forever. I hope this music ain't copyrighted.
We all love Iron Man. He is arguably the most badass superhero there is. He was the character that started the MCU and acted as the face of it for over 10 years. When you Google the words superheroes, Iron Man is definitely one of the first results that you will get. But that wasn't always the case. The 2008 Iron Man film starring RDJ was a phenomenal success and skyrocketed Tony Stark's popularity into the mainstream, to the point that even my 90-year-old grandpa would be able to name the character if I showed him a photo. But going back before the film, Iron Man was nowhere near the top of the most popular superhero lists. Nowadays, if you ask someone to name the big three of Marvel, there is a good chance that they will say Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. But back before the MCU, in the late 90s to early 2000s, the common consensus was Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk. When I was growing up, majority of...
That actually makes perfect sense, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. The first superhero that I really, like, heard about, like, when I'm talking about, like, being popular was Spider-Man. And then the next thing you know, it was Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when, like, the X-Men movies and stuff was coming out around the time when I started getting into it. You know what I mean? So X-Men was obviously one of those big names as well as Spider-Man, you know? I didn't really know about Iron Man until the movie Iron Man came out, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Because the main attraction was Spider-Man and the X-Men stuff.
The Marvel promotional material back then featured those three characters. I remember I used to have a giant Marvel poster in my childhood room that featured hundreds of characters from the Marvel comics, and Spider-Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk were the focal point. That poster was from 2007, and in 2015 they made another one, and as you can see, the focus is much more on Tony, Cap, and Thor. Although Iron Man wasn't at big three levels of popularity yet, he was still on the rise, appearing in more animated shorts and being featured on the cover of video games. The mid-2000s was a time when Iron Man
bro. I think the reason why people like Iron Man is because he's a human being turned superhero. You know what I'm saying? We literally seen Iron Man being a human. I mean, obviously, you know, bro was rich, but bro was a human being and then he became a superhero. With his own brain, you know what I'm saying? He used his smarts and his wits to become who he is. So I think that's what give a lot of people, like, that's what make people like him. Because it's really like, when you think about it, anybody can be Iron Man. Any human being can be Iron Man. Cody Rhodes, Sam Wilson can be Iron Man. Bucky, all they gotta do is put on a suit, bro. I mean, Bucky's not human, but you get what I'm saying, though. You feel me? Any human can be Iron Man. And I think that's what made people like him more, is because of that fact. You know,
the rise, which is what led to him getting his movie debut. But in this video, I want to talk about the comic that started this rise to fame. Comic book characters have been around for decades, so over that time period, there have been a multitude of characters who have had at least one really great run that included...
Man, these are all the Iron Man comics? Bro, it's a lot. Oh, no, it's not all Iron Man. I was about to say, I thought these were all Iron Man comics. Hey, which one of these comics right here do y'all see have y'all read? And if y'all read every single one of these that y'all see on the screen right now, which one is the best one, bro? Because I do want to read a comic one of these days, bro. Especially because, you know, I'm into Marvel and shit. I want to read one. I want to see if
Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Daredevil, the X-Men, the Teen Titans. By the 2000s, all of these characters had iconic costumes, villains, and panels that have stood the test of time. But Iron Man never really got that treatment. Sure, there were some interesting stories and art here and there, but nothing that screamed iconic like the other characters. That was until 2004, when Marvel released Iron Man Extremis, written by Warren Ellis with art by Adi Granov. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. This comic was basically made to modernize the character of Tony Stark because no one really gave a shit about Iron Man. Tony originally got shrapnel in his chest when he was in Vietnam, so in Extremis, they changed it to the Middle East, making the character much more relevant to a post-9/11 world, which is obviously what we later saw in the movie.
Sense.
I mentioned the word iconic earlier, and I want to get back to that because I think that just might be the most important aspect of a comic book superhero. You could have the greatest writing in the world, but if your hero doesn't look cool, then no one's gonna even bother picking the book off the shelf.
That's true, yeah, that is true, bro. You look good, you play good. We all know this, bro. The characters gotta look good, bro, for people to actually like it. That's why it's like certain characters that don't have like a good costume or something like that, people won't like them just because of that, bro. It like that do happen, you feel me? So are they saying one of the main reasons why people didn't like Tony Stark was because of the way his character looked and the way his costume and stuff looked? People wasn't really messing with it.
We could all say that Iron Man is visually iconic, but that look was spawned in Extremis with Adi Granov's incredible hyper-realistic art. Extremis is an amazing story, and trust me, we'll get to that, but I just would recommend you read this comic purely because of how great the art is. It's super gritty and completely feels like a Hollywood movie when you read art. Extremis is an amazing story, and trust me, we'll get to that, but I just would recommend you read this comic purely because of how great the art is. It's super gritty and completely feels like a Hollywood movie when you're reading it. The suit design is absolutely beautiful and upgraded Iron Man from a costume to a piece of armor technology that...
Hey, shout out to all the people that draw comic books in manga, like anime manga, bro. Y'all, could I say penmanship? Because penmanship, that's like writing words, right? Y'all, but nah, I was gonna say y'all hand game is crazy. But that's wicked to say, you know what I'm saying? But y'all, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all like some of the best drawers in the world, bro.
Feels like it could be real.
Well, y'all are the best drawers.
Was so good that Jon Favreau brought him on to do the concept art for the film.
I don't care nobody say. Even I think they better than artists, bro. I'm just be real with you, bro.
This art directly influenced the future of the character's look and aesthetic. Okay, I think I've glazed the art enough. I think it's time I actually talk about the story of Extremis and how it changed Tony as a character.
Yeah, what was the story?
What's the story for the one we love today? The first thing that I want to analyze is the opening when we first see Tony. Tony is a billionaire who could sleep in the nicest bed in the nicest penthouse in the world, but the first panel we see is of him sleeping in a messy lab where it looks like he was just up all night working away at making upgrades to the Iron Man armor. He's awoken by a phone call that reminds him that he has an interview with a documentarian named John Pillinger, who is basically a fictional version of Michael Moore, a filmmaker who makes political docs exposing corruption in the American system. When Tony goes to get ready, he stares at himself in the mirror, asking, "What are you looking at?" Then saying, "I hate it when you look at me like that." Immediately, Extremis sets up that Tony has a guilty conscience and is deeply unhappy with himself. As the story cuts to one of Stark's head...
You think it's because he's super rich and stuff? Because you remember, like in the movie, bro, technically grew up rich, but at the same time, he earned his spot. Bro, it wasn't like bro was retarded, grew up and had money. He actually, like, went to school, proved that he can do stuff, and he was smart, knew equation, like... Bro was gonna be what he was regardless of his dad and them, I think. And I think that's because, you know, due to him, I think it's because he liked to build and all that stuff. So he was already kind of in that realm already. He was gonna be as rich as he is without his dad. At least that's how I feel.
Quarters, we see a group of protesters outside carrying signs saying "Guns don't kill people, Stark does," giving one of the biggest reasons for Tony's guilty conscience. Tony used to make and sell weapons to the military, and he has blood on his hands, which is exactly what John Pillinger is about to interview him about. Also, I just want to give you a quick side note for context. Tony has been Iron Man for a while at this point, but the public doesn't know it yet. They just think he is a suit that Stark Industries built, and it's Tony's bodyguard. Tony has distanced himself from being an arms dealer and is interested in making a positive change through being Iron Man. As the interview begins...
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. They should have adopted this story for the movie. But then I guess it would be like, well, we wouldn't see how he become Iron Man if we, you know. Imagine... Because bro said in the comic, people thought his bodyguard was Iron Man. Imagine people thinking Happy was Iron Man. No disrespect to Happy. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. You know what I'm saying, bro? Funny. But imagine people thinking Happy was Iron Man the entire time, bro. That would be some crazy shit. Or what was Happy? Happy was his bodyguard, right? Or was that like, nah? Happy was his bodyguard. He was wearing a suit and everything. That you're a bodyguard, bro.
Tony asks Pillinger what the film is called, and he replies, Ghosts of the 20th Century. The two go back and forth, and things begin to get heated as Pillinger brings up how Tony's weapons have killed. Go back and
Tony, would it be fair to define you as an arms dealer? I can't read this. Yeah.
Forth.
I'm gonna have to
things
read it.
begin to get heated as Pillinger brings up how Tony's weapons have killed innocent children in Afghanistan, and asks him how the Iron Man suit is any different from those quote-unquote defense weapons. Now, this next page is just filled with top-tier writing, so I'm just gonna read it word for word.
Bro, you know what I hate, bro? Because even in the movie, bro, they was mad at Iron Man for having this suit, and he was protected. They would talk about like, oh, it could be used against it. Bro, right now it's being used to help though. You know what I'm saying? And now you expect me to give up what I got to I made this. You know what I'm saying? So why can't I use it how I want to use it? You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to pay me for it either. Because I like what I built. Now y'all trying to take it from me and use it for yourselves. And y'all excuse for that is it could be stolen and and then they had Cody Rhodes go in there and steal it just to make a point type. That had me hot, bro. You know,
because I think it's very important for Tony's character going forward. I never claimed to be perfect. I always knew that there would be blood on my hands. I'm trying to improve the world. Thanks for your time. I'm curious, actually. If you know my work,
and it's kind of crazy how the enemies and allies are both trying to.
Why am I a ghost of the 20th century? Because your arms work of the 90s still haunts the poverty and war-stricken countries that they were deployed in. I wanted to meet you. You've been making investigative films for what, 20 years now? I want to ask, have you changed anything? You've been uncovering disturbing things all over the world for 20 years now. Have you changed anything?
Facts. You over here pressuring me about what I'm doing. All you doing is sitting here asking people questions. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like that. Nuts.
Intellectuals, critics, and activists follow your films closely, but culturally, you're almost invisible, Mr. Pillinger. Have you changed anything? I don't know. Me neither. It's been an honor to meet you, Mr. Pillinger. Thanks for your time, Mr. Stark. This interaction perfectly sets up the mentality of Tony Stark going forward. A man who is haunted by his demons, but desperately wants to change the future for the better. Tony calls out Pillinger, acknowledging that his work is important and brings awareness, but questioning if it actually has made any difference. Tony knows that with his power, he is actually capable of making one. He just needs to figure out how. The villain of Extremis is also very interesting. It was the inspiration for Iron Man 3. His name is Malin, and he is a domestic terrorist who stole and injected himself with the Extremis virus. Extremis completely changes your biology and makes you insanely dangerous. Think of it as like the super soldier serum, but on crack. He commits a deadly attack on an FBI building, killing tons of people.
Hey, I'm for real. Whoa! Is he shooting fire out of his mouth? This is just like Oh Boy there. You know what I'm saying? From Iron Man 3. But I really do think they should have made this a movie, bro. Like this story entirely. I feel like this story right here would actually be pretty dope to see on screen. But maybe they still plan on doing it. But you know what I think, bro? If Tony Stark was to come back and because Doctor Strange, when he made everybody forget, he just only made people forget who Spider-Man was. He didn't make people forget who Iron Man was. But I'm just saying, like, if Tony Stark was to come back, would people remember that he was Iron Man? Like, depending on how things happen and everything like that, you know? In the Avengers Doomsday sequel, you know, it's just some thoughts I had.
People, which sparks Tony to go after him. Malin mirrors Tony as he is what Tony fears becoming, a dangerous piece of technology with unchecked power. While Tony wants to use his power to save people, changing the world for the better, Malin hates the world and wants to tear it down. This fight between the two of them is a defining turning point for Tony as it humbles him, making him realize his armor isn't strong enough. It's limiting. He is a man controlling a machine that has power, while Malin's body itself has the power. Tony gets his ass handed to him. Malin is just simply quicker and stronger. Tony is in critical condition and chooses to get airlifted to the lab where Extremis was created instead of a hospital. He wants to be injected with a dose.
Bro, in the middle of the fight, he got took to the hospital, bro. How did they pause the fight? Hold on, bro. You're going to burst inside that suit when this hits you. They're going to have to pour you out. Bro, so what happened to where he was able to get airlifted by a helicopter and transported to a hospital? What happened to him? Did bro just press pause on the play, bro? It's like, hold on, I gotta go do something real quick. I'll be right back. And bro was like, all right, bet. bro, they didn't explain what
Is
happened
to
right
get
here.
airlifted to the lab where Extremis was created instead of a hospital. He wants to be injected with a dose of
Point being,
Extremis
no,
to
bro,
level
gotta die.
himself up and defeat Malin. Tony no longer wants to be a man controlling a machine. He wants it to be a part of him. As the procedures start,
Ooh.
Tony is put into a coma, and it is here that we get the iconic origin that we all know and love. These panels were based.
What? So this is how the origin started for Iron Man in the comics? He got beat up so bad, and he was like, bro, you know what? I want to be part machine as well, because I think that would be better, you know? Instead of him getting captured and then putting the thing in his chest, and then, you know, I'm not gonna lie, okay, I see why they changed the story. Because I feel like if they did do it that way, it wouldn't be Iron Man 1. This would be Iron Man 3, you know? Which will mean we'll get 2 movies of him being Iron Man without having that thing in his chest, which would change the story like drastically. You know what I'm saying? I think
Basically adapted right onto the screen for the first Iron Man movie. We see Tony waking up in a terrorist cave and meeting Ho Yinsen after getting shrapnel in his chest. And you know the rest. I know I said I was done glazing Audie Grunov, but my god, this is some of the coolest, most satisfying comic book art that there is to look at. When Tony wakes up, the Extremis successfully integrated itself into his body, completely leveling him up. Tony is now able to control the Iron Man suit straight from his brain. He no longer needs to pick up and put the armor on, and now it just flies to him when he wants it to, making him the ultimate weapon and a true invincible Iron Man. This completely changed the possibilities of Iron Man's abilities, as we see in the future comics and the MCU as his character progressed. A now completely upgraded Tony tracks down Malin for an epic
and any human being can do this, bro. And I think that's why a lot of people like Steve Rogers, because they're humans. You know what I'm saying? Steve Rogers, Tony Stark. These are human beings that are still human, but just had science help them. You know? And I think that really connects with the people, because it's like, bro, this could really happen. Like, we could really. There's probably scientists out there right now creating an Iron Man, because it's not. I mean, it don't seem that hard. We know what machinery does. Like, we know how technology is, and you know what I'm saying. Like, we understand it enough to probably integrate it into. Like, we making AIs and stuff, bro. Come on now. You don't think they been thinking about making an Iron Man of themselves, or making a Captain America, or they probably did already? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows, bro? But this stuff is the super serum and Iron Man type of stuff, bro, is capable for us now, because all it is science, bro. It has nothing to do with magic. It's all science.
Match of power and ideology.
Serum might have
this time around, Tony dominates. He is now quicker and stronger than Malin could ever be, and drops some of the hardest lines at the same time. You know why you frightened me?
He spun the block and he went to go get his gift back.
I made the first version of the suit to save myself and a friend from criminals with guns. I must have killed 50 people trying to free us, and my friend still died. A stray bullet went through the side of the hut, killed him instantly. My folks died the same way, and you killed 50 people you never met 20 years later. You're my nightmare, the version of me that couldn't see the future. Some murder-happy hillbilly who never in his life had a thought about what these tools are for. No matter how clear it is that he can't be the new Iron Man, Malin doesn't stop fighting. Tony pleads for him to stop, or else he has to kill him, but he doesn't, and Tony is forced to deliver a killing blow. Tony kills the thing that he most feared becoming, fulfilling a line that he said earlier in the series. All I have is making the future and stopping the animals who want to take that future away from people. To me, that is the core of Tony's character. A man who will stop at nothing to try and better the world because he is still haunted by making it worse in the past. And at the end of the story, Tony is finally able to look at himself in the mirror.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I think this comic right here could have been a movie. But I do understand why they changed some of the stuff in the comic. Because you could tell this right here was Iron Man 1. But they took some of the stuff out and they placed it in the other movies. You know what I mean? Like, they kept some of the ideas and changed the idea a little bit. Like, when he got the thing in his chest, they changed that up for Iron Man 1. Instead, they just had him get captured, and then he got the thing in his chest, and then he became Iron Man from that point on, which I think is a better story than him just, you know, building the suit because he wanted to protect everybody, and then he ended up getting in the fight with a super strong villain, and then he decides to be like, yeah, I got to become one with the machine and able to defeat him. I don't think that would have been a good Iron Man 1 story, you know, because then at that point, it would be like, okay, so bro been Iron Man for about, 1 or 2 years before he came to this point. This sounds like the end of Iron Man 3. Like, it sounds like the end of his story, kind of the end of his solo story, I guess you would say. Like this movie will be the movie that come out right before the Avengers movie, like Avengers Endgame or something. You know, that's just me personally. But y'all let me know, bro, if y'all think this is the comic that changed Iron Man forever, or is there other comics about Iron Man that helped shape him be who he is today?